welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I can't thank you enough for being a part of the show. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is here with you Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to go beyond today of our normal scheduled time as we typically do, because we are bringing you the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Not one of, not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but we're in NFL Week 16. We have this week, we have next week, and that's probably the end of your fantasy football season as far as your league. Now, you can still play daily fantasy in Week 18, and of course in the NFL postseason, but typically the NFL fantasy season championship is NFL Week 17. So this is the semis right now. Happy to be here with you. I want to shout out everybody that's in our fantasy football leagues on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So much love to everybody in our two leagues that are here in Central and Upstate New York. When it comes to Central New York, our exclusive home of this world of fantasy football for Wake Up Call Fantasy Football, that home is the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue, and they're there in Camillus, New York. You can go and visit them 7 days a week. I implore you to do so. So go out and see them at the Wildcat. Much appreciation to the Wildcat, to Danny Tome and the entire team that's out there. And like I said, you can go and see them 7 days a week, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. And of course, you can order takeout and delivery by calling 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat. So make sure that you do that. Watch all the games there. And of course, you could do so many things at the Wildcat. They have awesome atmosphere, great experiences, amazing food. I was just there a few days ago with my brother, Mr. Isaac Elford, enjoying the pizza that we always get there. We always get the pepperoni and sausage pizza. We get a large, we split it, and it's fantastic. It's become like our place, and it's kind of our ritual now that's where we go when we go out to eat. We go to the Wildcat. So make sure that you do that as well. Make some memories at the Wildcat. And it's just a wonderful place led by Danny Tome and the team. So shout out to them. Shout out to the incredible team that I've gotten to know over the years at the Wildcat. Says a lot about Danny and the character of people that he brings into the Wildcat, that I have seen a ton of the same faces working with them for almost a decade. And those people, a lot of those people have never changed. They've been there. And how hard is it to find good people in today's day and age that are consistently doing a great job at work, not occasionally. And Danny has put together a wonderful team, and they've stayed loyal to him. He's stayed loyal to them, and it's what I love so very much. So big shout out to Danny Tome and the team over at the Wildcat. Make sure that you go and see them. And like I said, they're open 7 days a week. And come and see us throughout the year with our specials with the West Genesee Wildcats right over the hill. So with that being said, it is NFL Week 16 in this Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios in Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Go and see them Monday through Saturday for sales and service. And then, of course, you can get in touch with us Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time and beyond on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. And I appreciate everybody that's done that over the years and doing that today. And just make sure you tell your family, friends, coworkers, and colleagues about it. We're happy to welcome in new people all the time. We appreciate you all, and honestly can't thank you enough for all the positives that you bring to my life just by showing up. So much love for that. And like I said, in these Great Lakes Honda City Studios, if you're looking for a vehicle, trust the place that I have trusted for over a decade. That is Great Lakes Honda City on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. So let's jump into it. If you have a question, send it over to us. I got different screens, so if you see me looking in different places, I am just looking at the different screens that we have here so I can make sure that I don't miss any questions that come in to us about fantasy football. So if you have a question, send it over to us. Happy to answer it, and definitely happy to be here with you. So make sure that you send over your questions to us, and making sure we got all the feeds up so I could see everything. So if you have a question, whatever it's on, even if we pass the game, ask the question. Happy to help. And keep in mind this week that there is a Thursday game. There's also 2 Saturday games. So do not forget about that. There are 2 Saturday games this week. I do not want you to forget that and then be like, oh crap, and it's Sunday and you didn't set your lineup. So make sure that you do that and don't miss a beat. This is week 16 of the 2025-26 NFL season. So let's hop right into it. We're going to start things off with our Thursday game, which is your Rams against your Seahawks. The Rams and the Seahawks both fighting for positioning in the NFC West. The Rams currently lead the entire NFC, all 4 divisions. The Seahawks are chomping at the bit, chomping at their heels, trying to find their footing and get themselves into the postseason as well. So it's making for an exciting finish here in the NFC West and in the NFC in general. By the way, shout out to Matty Stafford, who continues to be relevant in this football world, and a big time shout out as well to Sam Darnold, who was left for dead and has resurrected his career. So a lot of love and respect going out to both of those gentlemen who are leading their respective teams into this matchup. So just want to show love where love should be shown to everybody that's on the team, and for the Seahawks making the moves they made. They went out and got Rashid Shaheed to join Jackson Smith and Jigba, and to me that was a huge move, getting him from the Saints. And then obviously, Matt Stafford and the Rams are doing a tremendous, tremendous job. So big time shout out to them and much love to them for all the work that they are doing out there. Let's get into this game. We'll go to the Rams first because they are the road team. So for the Rams in this matchup, I think Matty Stafford, Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, all worth the play. They have Kanata Mumpfield, one of my favorite names in the NFL, and Tutu Atwell, another one of my favorite names in the NFL. Now, Devontae Adams didn't practice due to a hamstring injury. Hopefully he'll be okay and he'll be able to go. He's been awesome coming on to the Rams. He's done a fantastic job resurrecting his career as well. But for right now, just watch the injury report. I like Puka. I like Kyron. I like Matty Stafford. On the other side of it, this is a game for the marbles, right? We're talking about the NFL standings in the NFC West. This is what it looks like. We have the Rams at 11-3. We have the Seahawks at 11-3. Okay, now the Rams have secured a playoff spot. The Seahawks have not secured their playoff spot yet, but they very well could. The last time that they played each other, when you go back and look at this, the Seahawks traveled to LA and lost to the Rams by just 2 points, 21-19. If they even the score here, they could change some things, and they could change a lot of things actually in the standings, right? The Seahawks can go from trying to make the playoffs to being the number 1 seed in the NFC. That's what's on the line for the Seahawks. The Rams, what's on the line is securing that number 1 seed that they currently have. So, Sam Darnold's not a bad play this week. I don't know if I would have him as a QB1, probably as a QB2. But just look into the fact that this is a huge game and he's been playing well, and obviously somebody's getting the ball to Jackson Smith and Jigba, Rashid Shaheed, and Cooper Kupp. I like Njigba as a 1. I like Shaheed and Kupp as 2s at wide receiver, and I like Kenneth Walker the 3rd to be running that rock for you. I do want to take a look at the Zach Charbonnet factor really quick, and like I said, if you have a question, send it in to any one of our feeds. We'd be happy to answer your questions here. But I want to take a look at most recently in that win over the Colts, 18-16, with the return of Phillip Rivers, who is in his mid-40s and doing an awesome job. Dude went out there and kept the team in the hunt on the road at the Seahawks against one of the best teams in the entire country. So big time shout out to my man Rivers, coming off of the couch and showing he's still got it. And it's a figure of speech saying coming off the couch. Obviously, he wasn't just simply coming off the couch, because dude was out there making this game a game. So I respect him for that. Charbonnet 8 carries, 31 yards. Walker, 9 carries, 17. So Charbonnet is being used. If you want to flex him out, you could flex him in this game. It's not a bad option to look at something like that. Like I said, if you have a question, just send it over to us as we run through these games for NFL Week 16 in the Wake Up Call Fantasy Football Power Hour, probably presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. 2 Saturday games. Again, please do not forget that there are Saturday games. I don't want you in your playoffs, in your semifinals, to have an open spot, an injured player, or, one of those issues where you're not going to gain points because you forgot. Saturday, December 20th, there are 2 games. Philadelphia at Washington in the NFC East at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Green Bay at Chicago in the NFC North at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Both games are going to be on Fox. Both kind of feel like Thanksgiving after Thanksgiving. So let's go to the first of those 2, which is Philadelphia at Washington. Now, Washington has obviously struggled without having Jaden Daniels throughout the season, right? He hasn't been consistently available to them, nor has Terry McLaurin, and that changes a lot for a team that is 4-10. Now, they just beat the Giants on the road 29-21. The Giants are worse than Washington, so it makes sense there that Washington was able to get the victory. Marcus Mariota hasn't done a bad job. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, the rookie, he's been okay. Terry McLaurin's back, which has been good for the team. But when we look at this game, Philly is playing for a spot in the postseason. I like Jalen Hurts in the matchup. Saquon Barkley did not practice with his neck injury. Tank Bigsby has an illness, and so he was limited in practice. That could leave us with Will Shipley or A.J. Dillon, somebody to pick up in free agency or on the waiver wire. And so just monitor that. You may want to grab and stash right now and then just watch. And then if Saquon's able to go, then you can drop whoever you grabbed and stashed. But I'd probably do it now, because now that I've said it, I mean, there's a chance that you've already thought it. And if I've said it now and you're listening, there's a chance that somebody in your league is listening. So make sure you make that move now to grab and stash probably A.J. Dillon. But if Saquon's able to go, I like him. I like Jalen Hurts. I like A.J. Brown. I like Devontae Smith. And I like Dallas Goedert. Now, with that being said, on the other side for Washington, we have Marcus Mariota, who I probably wouldn't be putting out there in this game, and Chris Rodriguez Jr. He could be a flex in a deep league. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, I'll call him a running back 3 this week. I like Terry McLaurin as your best bet if you're going to play anybody from Washington. And then Deebo Samuel. I mean, Treylon Burks is playing his former team. He was drafted by the Titans, then went to Philly, and is now with the Washington Commanders. I wouldn't be putting him out there, though. I think Terry McLaurin's your best bet. And then Deebo Samuel, if you want to flex out Deebo, you could look at doing that. I consider playing Philadelphia's defense and special teams, though. I'm not sold that Washington, who has nothing to play for, but you hope that they're going to finish out the season strong, right? Every game you have matters, even though you're not making the postseason. Don't want to see anybody quit, and hopefully that's not going to be the case. Best case scenario for your fantasy team is Terry McLaurin. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Deebo Samuel, probably flex for you. Green Bay at Chicago, this is a huge game. I've said it and I'll say it again over and over. Going into this season, my remarks were that Caleb Williams would have the opposite of a sophomore slump, and he's had exactly that. He has trended upward, not downward, and look at Chicago. They're 10-4. Green Bay is 9-4-1. Green Bay needs this victory to keep themselves alive. And then in the case of Chicago, well, they need this victory to keep their footing in the standings of the NFC North. So as we look at it right now, Chicago is right above Green Bay, 10-4, and then Green Bay 9-4-1, as I had mentioned. In the last matchup that they had against each other, when they faced off, the Bears went to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and Green Bay won that game 28-21. So the Bears are going to try and take over this one, and with the Bears trying to make it happen this time around, you know that this is going to be a good game. Green Bay has been the definition of an enigma for the last 3 or 4 years. and I think they continue to be that. Which team's going to show up? Now, Josh Jacobs has a knee injury. He did not practice. God willing, he and everyone that's injured in any way, shape, or form in and out of football will be okay by the grace of God in Jesus' most precious name. I want to make sure I pray that, because I can't stand seeing people hurt in any way, shape, or form, including guys on the injury report. And Green Bay is full of injury report guys right now. Every single one of their offensive line positions has somebody on the injury report, and then they have 2 of their tight ends. They have a couple of their wide receivers, 3 of their wide receivers. 3 of their running backs are the 4 that they have. So crazy. Jordan Love, to me, if you're going to play him, I got him. They're on the road at Chicago. I got him as a low end 1, high end 2 at quarterback. Josh Jacobs, if he's able to go, I'll call him a running back 2. Romeo Doubs, he's a guy that I would say probably wide receiver 2. Maybe Luke Musgrave is a mid-range to low-end tight end 1, because they got to throw to somebody. Christian Watson didn't practice with his chest injury. So a lot of injuries for Green Bay. Chicago, I like Caleb Williams in this game. I'm going to call him a mid-range QB1. I like DeAndre Swift. Roma Dunze is on the report. He's got a foot injury. If he's able to go, I like him. I like Colston Loveland. Loving this rookie tight end out of Michigan. And DJ Moore, I'll call him a 2. He gets more value if Roma Dunze stays on the injury report. With that being said, let's go to our other game that will find us, or pardon me, we have our 2 Saturday games. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a step aside. When we come back, we'll head into Sunday's matchups with the 1 o'clock games. Tampa Bay at Carolina, a battle of the NFC North. That's coming up right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. This is NFL Week 16 Fantasy Football Power Hour advice, coming to you proudly powered by the Wildcat Sports Pub right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge, and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item, available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Avicoli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout delivery and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's K9, ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We are inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios, and we appreciate you being here, hanging out with us Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and beyond that. Our Sunday game is up next here, starting off the 1 o'clock game. It's a matchup in the NFC South with Tampa Bay and Carolina. Believe it or not, now Tampa Bay has been relevant over these last few seasons. Obviously, they won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. We're relevant with Tom Brady, and they've been relevant with Baker Mayfield. They're 7-7 right now. So is Carolina, and they're fighting for the opportunity of who's going to decide who's winning this division. The NFC South typically is a division where you don't have to win many games. You can win 7, 8, 9 games, and that might be enough. And the other two teams are eliminated. It's literally Tampa against Carolina, both with a record of 7-7. So this is a massive game with huge implications. It's going to determine who outright has first place, and they're going to play each other twice in the last 3 weeks of the season. So whoever wins this game, there's another crack at it on the last week of the NFL season in Week 18. So this is really amazing, and this is some cool things that are just poetic when it comes to sports. You don't know how you're going to start. You don't know what's going to happen through the season. And then you look at the schedule and say, wow, the two teams that are fighting for the NFC South are playing each other not once, but twice in the last 3 weeks of the season, and they have the exact same record. So this is going to have a huge, huge, huge effect on who makes it. And so I like Baker Mayfield. in the game. Bucky Irving's been able to play again, so I do like Buck going out there and doing his thing. Sean Tucker still getting in his end zone in a deep league. I would say you can maybe look at flexing him out. And so that's something to look to, is to look to a guy like Sean Tucker, maybe as a deep flex. And then Rashad White only had 2 touches. So I like Bucky Irving. I'm going to say Sean Tucker is a flex. Let's call him a running back 3 in a deep league, maybe a 4, but potentially worth putting out there. Mike Evans, Emeka Egbuka, Chris Godwin, they're all able to go finally, which is good news for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And looking at the Bucs right now, as we take a look at how they've done most recently, they lost to the Falcons 29-28. The Falcons have been all over the place this year, and they're 5-9. They're out of the playoff run. They had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions from Kirk Cousins, 30 of 44 for 373. Kyle Pitts Sr. had all 3 of those touchdowns, 12 targets, 11 receptions, 166 yards. Massive game for a team that there was high hopes for Atlanta, and it just didn't end up working out, unfortunately. Now, Mike Evans had 132 yards in his last game, caught 6 of the 12 thrown his way. Emeka Egbuka caught 4 of the 7 thrown his way, 64 yards. Chris Godwin, 4 of the 5 thrown his way, had a touchdown and 20 yards. So they've been slinging it. So I like Evans, Egbuka, and Godwin. I don't want to tell you to keep one of them off, because if you do, that might be the one that scores. On the other side for Carolina, Rico Dowdle has really caught my eye here, and I like what he's been doing since he left Dallas. Tetairoa McMillan, I've been a fan of, and I've been telling you about him. He's a guy that I either drafted or tried to draft in all of my fantasy leagues, and so I definitely like Tetairoa. And then Tula get to quit. He's been underwhelming. You might want to, if you're going to put him out, maybe flex him out as a wide receiver 4. But Rico Dowdle and Tetairoa McMillan, I would say, are your best bet. A lot more fantasy value on Tampa's side than Carolina's side, in my opinion, as far as who I feel comfortable telling you to play, but huge reality implications for these two teams with the same record that will face off twice in the last 3 weeks of the NFL season to decide who's going to win this division, and may decide the only team that makes it from this division into the playoffs, because you have 2 7-7 teams right now, or you look at the rest of the NFC and you say, okay, well, Philly has 9 wins, Chicago has 10, Green Bay's close to getting double-digit wins, and then LA and Seattle and San Francisco all have at least 10 wins on the season going into Week 16. So, that doesn't leave a lot of room for 2 teams that are at 500 right now getting into the postseason. So they're not just fighting to win the division, they're fighting for who's going to make the playoffs, arguably, when it comes to Tampa and Carolina. Let's go to Buffalo and Cleveland. So we'll go to the Bills first here. Josh Allen worth the play. James Cook, who I told you all about a year before, a lot of people were high on him. He's worth the play. Dalton Kincaid is worth the play. And then, Buffalo, listen, they got the win over New England. They came back and they got it done. Thank goodness for them on that, because if the Patriots had beaten them twice, the Patriots might be able to knock them out of the postseason. Now, Patriots came to Buffalo, beat them 23-20, and then Buffalo went to New England, beat them 35-31 this past week. And how did this happen? Well, New England was up 21-0 before Buffalo scored and made it 21-7. And then it was 24-7 New England, 24-14 New England, 24-21 before Buffalo took the lead in the fourth quarter with 10:03 left in the game, 28-24. Then New England took it back, 31-28. And then with 6:48 left in the game, James Cook had an 11-yard touchdown run to make it 35-31, and the Bills defense was able to fend off New England for the last 6+ minutes of the game to not allow New England to score at home at Gillette Stadium to pull off that victory. So shout out to the Buffalo Bills for a fantastic finish against New England, where at one point they were down 21-0. In the game, Khalil Shakir caught all 5 thrown his way, 65 yards. Knox had 2 touchdowns on 4 catches, 3 targets, 2 touchdowns, 4 targets, 3 catches, 2 of those 3 for touchdowns, 37 yards. Kincaid also caught 3 of the 4 thrown his way for almost the same amount of yards, 34, but did not get into the end zone. James Cook had a receiving touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns, over 100 yards against New England. 22 carries, 107, 4.9 yards carry. Josh Allen, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 19 of 28, 193 yards. So, yes, James Cook, yes, Josh Allen. Khalil Shakir, I'm going to call him a wide receiver too. I like Kincaid. Knox and Kincaid are a good 1-2 punch. It's good to see Knox in the end zone, but what does that mean for Kincaid? Jackson Hawes has also gotten in the end zone this season as a rookie tight end out of Georgia Tech. So I'm going to call Kincaid still the 1, and I'm going to call Dawson Knox the 1B. They're also playing Cleveland, so this could be another good week for Knox to get in the end zone as well, because there might be a lot of scoring on the road at Cleveland for Buffalo. On the other side of it, for the Cleveland Browns, there's been some good things happening from Shedeur Sanders, which has been great to see. The team's not making the postseason. They've lost 3 in a row. They just got blown out by the Chicago Bears on the road. So who is the best fantasy player in a blowout romp loss, 28 points? Well, Shedeur threw 3 interceptions, no touchdowns. Isaiah Bond had 89 yards. Harold Fannin caught 7 passes and was thrown to 14 times. So, again, the rookie tight end's been great. Harold Fannin Jr. is your best bet. Jerry Jeudy's a wide receiver 3. Quinshon Judkins, I'm going to call him a flex out wide receiver. The only guy I feel comfortable you playing is Harold Fannin Jr., but I do have some love for Quinshon Judkins, so I'd look to him. He was underwhelming at Chicago, 12 of 21, 1.8 yards a carry. So I would say Fannin, then Judkins, and then maybe a little bit of love for Jeudy as well. But Fannin's the one I feel best about. The Chargers and I'm going to see if we had any questions coming in here to make sure that I don't miss any one of your questions. And my apologies if your question's been hanging in the atmosphere here for a second. So doesn't look like we have a question that's pressing right now. So let's go to the Chargers at the Cowboys. And we'll start things off here with the Chargers being the road team. This is a great game because the Cowboys, believe it or not, are still playing for something. And the Chargers very much are playing for something. Oronde Gadsden, I told y'all that this guy was going to, he had a really good chance of going and being the number 1 tight end as a rookie for the Chargers because they didn't have a dominant guy. And he has absolutely taken over. He could be up for Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. So let's assess. I like Justin Herbert in the game. Amarian Hampton's back. I'm going to call him a running back 2. I like Ladd McConkey. I've liked him since last year going into the season, like I've liked Oronde. You know, I liked Ladd as a rookie right out of the gate before he had shown people what he could do in the NFL. I was backing him. Same thing with Oronde. So I like them both in this matchup. And then as far as Dallas goes on their side, I like Javonte Williams because he's been able to do some good things here coming on to the Cowboys. I like CeeDee Lamb, I like George Pickens, and I like Jake Ferguson. So that's what I would have for you in this matchup. I do want to take a look really quick here at the Dak Prescott factor because Cowboys are 6-7-1. They're still in the playoff hunt. Dak is probably going to pass 4,000 yards in this game with 2 games to go. He's got 3,931 with 3 games left on the season. So when we look at the game log for the round 4, 135 overall pick in the 2016 NFL draft, a decade ago pretty much here, looking at his numbers, it hasn't been terrific as far as touchdown to interception, but yeah, I mean, I'm underwhelmed by his consistent. He hasn't been consistent in numbers. He had a streak from October 5th to October 19th, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 3-0, 3-0, before he went 0-2 at Denver. Keep in mind, he was playing the Jets in that 4-0 game, Carolina in the 3-0 game, and Washington in the 3-0 game. Carolina's a pretty good team, and they lost to them 30-27, but, you know, outside of that, the competition wasn't fantastic. Against better competition, he struggled, went 0-2 against Denver in a 20-point loss So, I mean, I'm looking at the Chargers being a good team. That's probably why I tell you not to play Dak in this game. And then let's go to the Jets at the Saints. This is what Papa Joe is probably going to call a terrible game this week when we make our picks. The Jets have not looked good at all. The Jets did not have a true number one quarterback, in my opinion, arguably. And the Saints didn't either. And at the end of the season, it's the same. So the Jets are in the market for a quarterback, and I would think that New Orleans probably should be in the market as well, as Spencer Rattler hasn't been the answer. Tyler Shuck hasn't been the answer. Maybe they believe in him for the future, but we'll have to see. Your best bet for your Jet is Breece Hall. Well, that rhymed. Breece Hall or Isaiah Davis. They're playing a terrible team, so there's a chance that they could get into the end zone. When we look at the Jets, who just lost 48-20 on the road at the Jaguars, Isaiah Davis, 9 for 58, 6.4 yards a carry and a touchdown. Breece Hall, 12 for 23, 1.9 yards a carry. Adonai Mitchell caught 6 of the 9 thrown his way, 58 yards and a touchdown. Isaiah Williams, 6 of the 7 thrown his way, 53 yards. John Mechie, caught 4 of the 5 thrown his way for 25 yards. Breece caught the 2 thrown his way out of the backfield. Isaiah Davis caught the 1 that was thrown his way out of the backfield. So, I mean, this is a terrible game, but that's good for Breece Hall. It's good for Isaiah Davis. Could be good for John Mechie, Adonai Mitchell. Isaiah Williams kind of popping up here, which is a good thing for him. He's in his second year out of Illinois, birthplace St. Louis, Missouri. So, I mean, fantasy-wise, I'm hoping the Jets and the Saints aren't on your team to save the season, but Breece Hall in this game, I'll call him a 2. I'll call Isaiah Davis a low 2, high 3. I'll call Mechie a low end 2, high end 3, and I'll do the same thing for Adonai Mitchell. On the other side of it, for the Saints, I mean, man, they got 3 injured running backs. This team healthy, you were kind of saying, what are they going to do this season? Because I thought this was the biggest open quarterback competition going into the year. And it still is. Tyler Shuck was their leading rusher in the last game. He was their leading passer. I mean, Olave is a good opportunity. Devon Vale could be another guy for you. They're going to have somebody run the ball, which looks like it could be Evan Hull and Audric Esteem. So, I mean, I like Chris Olave. Devon Vale has a shoulder injury, so you have to monitor that. Juwan Johnson caught 4 of the 4 thrown to him. So if I had to pick someone against the terrible Jets, I would say Chris Olave or Juwan Johnson. I probably wouldn't want to dig deeper, but if you have to dig deep and you're in a deep league and you're looking for a running back, Evan Hull or Audric Esteem, maybe you want to flex those guys out because somebody's going to have to play. That's what I would tell you about that game. Next one we have up here is going to take us to Minnesota at the Giants. The Minnesota Vikings fell off this year. Last year, they didn't have J.J. McCarthy. This year, they kind of had J.J. McCarthy, but really didn't have J.J. McCarthy. It's J.J. versus Jackson. It's a good game. Could create some fantasy points. I don't trust either one of their defenses. So I'm going to call Jackson and J.J. both mid-range quarterback 1s. As far as who to play for the Vikings of the skill players, we'll take a look first and foremost at the Vikings backfield. And as far as what they've done here, they just beat the Cowboys on the road 34-26. That's a good win for Minnesota, as the Cowboys are still in playoff contention. Nobody ran the ball well. Jordan Addison, 2 catches on 2 targets, 66. Hawkinson, 4 catches, 5 targets, 66. Justin Jefferson, 2 catches on 8 targets for 22. So Cowboys helped to shut him down. I still like Justin Jefferson in this game. I like TJ Hawkinson. I don't know if I like either running back, Aaron Jones or Jordan Mason. Like I said, mid-range QB1 for JJ. And yeah, I would say your best bet is Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, maybe a little bit of Jordan Addison. And then on the Giants side of things, when we take a look at where they're at, I mean, Jackson Dart's done some good things despite the fact that this is not a playoff team, and it's not all his fault, right? He's been injured, and he wasn't the starter the whole season. He's been the starter for part of it. They're on an 8-game losing streak. They just lost at home to the Commanders. They are in the market looking for a new head coach. They fired their head coach during the season, but Jackson Dart still looks good in losses. His numbers aren't great as far as his completion percentage, 20 of 36, but he had 2 touchdowns to 1 interception. He also ran the ball 9 times for 63 yards, 7 yards a carry. Theo Johnson's been getting involved. Wendell Robinson's been getting involved. Darius Slayton's gotten involved a little bit more. Tyrone Tracy Jr. So, again, they're not playing a great defense. So, mid-range quarterback 1 for Jackson Dart. I like Wendell Robinson. I like Theo Johnson. I'm going to call Wendell a wide receiver 2. I'm going to call Theo a mid-range tight end 1 because of the matchup. Kind of boosts him up a little bit from a tight end 2. Darius Slayton, I'll call him a wide receiver 3. Tyrone Tracy, I like him as a true flex, catching the ball and running the ball. So with Scadaboo out, that's affected this team. And, I think there's some life for Tyrone Tracy with the fact that he could be multiple. Kansas City at Tennessee, believe it or not, this matchup means nothing for the postseason for either team. This is typically the number 1 or 2 team in the AFC fighting against a mid to low range team in the AFC, and that's not the case this year. Both of these teams are not playoff bound. How many times could you say that about Kansas City and Tennessee in the last decade, that they're both in the same situation? Now, Kansas City's got more talent right now and more to build on, but neither one of these teams is going to the playoffs. Pat Mahomes is out and Gardner Minshew's taking over. I like Gardner Minshew. I like the energy he brings to a team. I'm going to say safe bet, go to your running back or your tight end with your backup quarterback. So Isaiah Pacheco, maybe a little bit of love of Kareem Hunt as a running back 3. I'm going to call Pacheco a 2. I'm going to call Kelsey still, I'm going to call him a mid-range 1. On the other side of it, for Kansas City, going up against Kansas City, Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, deep league, flex them out as a running back 3 or 4. Alec Manor, flex him out as a wide receiver 4. I really only feel okay about telling you Pollard or Spears, but if you are relying on the Tennessee Titans to get yourself through the semis of your fantasy football postseason, that's not a good place to be in. Let's hit the Bengals and the Dolphins before we take a step aside. So we'll go to the Bengals first here. And Cincinnati, they're not playing for anything. They're out of it. They're 4-10. They've been without Burrow for a certain point of this, kind of like Minnesota with J.J. McCarthy. They've had him, but they haven't had him. Quinn Ewers has taken over, and I liked him at Texas. I covered him, was there live. I don't know why people hate him so much. I said at one point this season he could end up being the starter. I said that a while ago, that Quinn Ewers could end up taking over. And he's been named the starter. I actually think it's going to be a good thing. No offense to Tua. I like Tua. I just think looking toward the future that Quinn could be maybe a bright spot for this team as much as I like Tua. For Joe Burrow, he'll start for the rest of the regular season. Kind of surprising here, knowing that they're 4-10, that, maybe you kind of just want to play Joe Flacco and not risk injuring Joe Burrow. But in this game, I'm going to call Burrow a mid-range QB1. I like Jamar Chase. I like Chase Brown. As far as Miami, Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, I like them both. Malik Washington, I like as a sneaky flex to put out there. And I like Darren Waller. Best bet, Achane, Waller, and Waddle. Achane throughout this entire season. If he's healthy, you play him. But I'm excited to see what Quinn Ewers can do. And I'm doing that as a connection to my brother, Joey, my big brother, Joey. So much love to you, Joe. The Battle of the Nest takes us. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to be watching this Miami game really closely because Quinn Ewers is starting now. Again, I like Tua, but I'm also a fan of Ewers, and I also predicted that there's a good chance we were going to see him out there. So I'm excited to see what he could do. I like Burrow as a QB1, I do, but they're going on the road to Miami, and Cincinnati's been so underwhelming that I don't want to tell you that, like, yes, Joe Burrow is the guy that's going to blow the doors off this thing, because you're playing for a fantasy trophy, right? You're playing for one of those trophies that's over my shoulder in our leagues, our Lombardis, or you're playing for the toilet bowl. And Cincinnati's been a little bit of a toilet this year, a lot of bit of a toilet at times. And I mean, they just got blown out at home by rival Baltimore, 24-0. Burrow threw 2 interceptions, 25 of 39, 225, no touchdowns. Jamar Chase had over 130 yards, and Chase Brown had a fantastic week as well. So that's why I like those two guys. But Burrow, I feel about Burrow the way I feel about Ewers. Let's see what they do, but I don't know if I'd necessarily be putting either one out there. Let's take a look at the Battle of the Nest. We're going to go Atlanta at Arizona. Both of these teams are not in the postseason. Kirk Cousins, though, hasn't done a bad job moving the offense. I like Kyle Pitts Sr., especially if Drake London stays out here. He's questionable with a knee PCL injury. So I like Kyle Pitts Sr. and I like Bijan Robinson. That's all I got for Atlanta. On the other side of it, Michael Carter, who used to be the starter with the Jets, now he could be leading the backfield with Arizona. Marvin Harrison Jr. is questionable with a heel injury. So really the only guy I like out of this is Trey McBride. And maybe in a deep league, a little bit of love to throw Michael Carter out there as my third running back because they're playing Atlanta. That's what I would say. So we're going to go to the Jaguars-Broncos game after our final fast break. We'll take here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. This is the Fantasy Football Power Hour, NFL Week 16, 2025-26 season, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. If you're watching this on playback or listening to it on playback and you have a question, directly send it to this video so that I can see it, or make sure that you DM us on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, or Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. We'll be right back inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios to wrap things up in our fantasy football coverage right after this.
Here's a message from Renee from Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry-loving friend. Right, Lily? Great cars, great people, great lakes. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking...
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your one-stop shop. You can go and see them for all of your sports card and trading card needs. Folks, when I was a kid, there was a place that I would go to, and I brought my mom there, my grandmother's there, my dad there, and it felt like home. I could be there for hours. And that place closed down. And I thought to myself, am I ever going to have that place in my hometown again? And then GG Cards and Breaks opened. And I met Josh and Anthony and the team. And now I feel like I have that home. I have that place. They do tremendous work. They care so much. They care so deeply. Their attention to detail, the products that they bring in, everything that they're willing to do just to have a store that makes your eyes light up. I mean, they have cards from history. They have new cards. They have graded cards, singles, packs, boxes. Every NFL, every NBA, every MLB team has its own box, and you can sift through it and find rookies and autograph cards and relic cards, numbered cards, and more. It's like a scavenger hunt for your soul when you go to GG Cards and Breaks, because it brings you closer to the teams you love, the players you love. Of course, they have Disney Lorcana, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, One Piece. So don't miss a moment of fanning the flame of your kid's spirit. And it's a great place to get Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and holiday gifts. So we'll see you over at GG Cards and Breaks Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 6, Sundays 10 to 5, 639 Delmar Place, where you get to be a big kid no matter what your age is in Syracuse, New York. Big time shout out as well to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. Man, this place is hopping all the time. They got their own light. They had to make a light on Bridge Street just to handle the traffic for Chick-fil-A. The light had to be in place and working before they could open. And guess what? Why did they have to do that? Because they were expecting traffic. And what did you do? You gave them what they expected by keeping them busy, driving by, seeing everybody in that double drive-through, inside enjoying the biggest Chick-fil-A that I've ever seen in my life, literally. And, of course, you can order on the app. So however you want to order Chick-fil-A, you already know the flavor's awesome. You know it's more than a chicken sandwich. And Megan Sorber and her team are the newest team to come here to Central New York, and they want to see you. Chick-fil-A DeWitt, corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. Head over there every day of the week except for Sunday, because they are closed for the Lord's Day. And we look forward to seeing you out there supporting our community together. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I'm calling this the Malik Jackson Bowl because he was on Denver, then he came to Jacksonville, won a Super Bowl with Denver and Peyton Manning before becoming a defensive tackle for the Jaguars. And the first and only time, well, no, I shouldn't say the first and only time because I have gotten to see another one. But Malik Jackson, when I was interviewing him, actually let me hold on to his Super Bowl ring. And I have a picture of it on my finger. So seeing the Jaguars and the Broncos logo has a special meaning to me because of Malik Jackson, because of our conversations, and because of him giving me a moment in my life that I'll never forget. So shout out to Malik. Much love, and I'll never forget you, man. Hope you're doing well, and I'd love to talk with you again. So, in this game, this is the battle of arguably the two best defenses in the country, both in the AFC. Trevor Lawrence, I'm going to call him a mid-range QB1 in this one, maybe a low-range QB1 because he's playing Denver's defense. I like Travis Etienne Jr. I like Brian Thomas Jr. I like Jacoby Myers. We know Jacoby is a possession receiver. That's why you bring him in. And I like Brenton Strange in this game. I think he might find himself in the end zone in a low-scoring game. This could be a game in the 20s, and I think Brenton Strange might have one of those touchdowns. On the other side of it, Bobo Nix, I'm going to call him a mid-range. I'm going to have him a hair above Trevor Lawrence, but I don't have either one of them as like a definite play quarterback because of the defenses they're playing. I would look at playing either one of these defense special teams if you play the whole unit. And then as far as RJ Harvey, he's on the injury report, so monitor that. Troy Franklin's worth the play, Cortland Sutton. Evan Engram's playing his old team. And in these games, guys either show up in a massive way or they stay quiet. So if you want to take a flyer on Evan Engram and you're going to play 2 tight ends this week, maybe you play him as your second tight end. I got him as a tight end too, but I've also circled this matchup because he's playing a team that should have never gotten rid of him. But I love this game. Could be the game of the week. Could be a 24-20 game. Let's go Steelers at Lions. I told you that in Aaron Rodgers' first season, I believe the Steelers are going to the postseason. The Lions are in a position where they may not be. Lions come in and you think maybe this is a Super Bowl team. They're 8-6 right now. The Lions are third in the NFC North behind Chicago and Green Bay. The Steelers, they're leading the AFC North right now. They have the exact same record as Detroit, but they're in a totally different position because their division is not as good as the NFC North. Speaking of the AFC North. And in this battle of North teams, I think Detroit's going to get this win, but Detroit has let you down. Let me down when I made some picks on them this year. Picks in their favor. I shouldn't say they let me down, but definitely did not play to the caliber that I thought they would play to. So let's take a look at Pittsburgh. They're on a 2-game winning streak. They just beat the Dolphins 28-15. They beat the Ravens on the road, which could be the separation that they need to win this division because the Ravens are the team behind them, and the other 2 teams, the Bengals and the Browns, are eliminated from playoff contention. Aaron Rodgers, 2 touchdowns most recently, 23 of 27, 224. Gainwell had 80 yards on the ground. Jonnu Smith had a rushing touchdown of 14 yards. DK had a touchdown. Marquez Valdez-Scantling had a touchdown. Gainwell caught 7 passes on 7 targets out of the backfield. To go with his 80 yards, he added another 46. So he had over 100 all-purpose yards. And he was averaging 6.2 yards a carry, and 6.6 yards per catch. The Muth is on fire. He had 5 targets, caught 3, 45 yards. So in this game, who do I like? I like Kenneth Gainwell more than I like Jaylen Warren. I mean, Gainwell had 13 carries, went 80 yards. Warren had 12 carries, went 33 yards. The difference between 6.2 or 2.8 yards a carry. Jalen had 3 catches on 3 targets out of the backfield. And like I said, Gainwell had 7 targets out of the backfield, caught all 7. So I like Gainwell. I'll say Warren is a 3. I'll call Gainwell a 2. I don't know if I'd play Aaron Rodgers in this game. I like DK Metcalf as a wide receiver 2. I like the Muth as a mid-range tight end 1. And then on the other side for the Detroit Lions, again, they got to pick this thing up because they're almost running out of time. And they just lost to the Rams on the road in the Matt Stafford Bowl, 41-34. By the way, Matt Stafford leaves Detroit, first season with LA, wins a Super Bowl. And now he's beating his old team and still playing well. If you forgot about Matty Stafford, you shouldn't have. Now, Jared Goff played well in this game. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 338. He was 25 of 41. Jahmyr Gibbs, 13 carries, 38 yards. Montgomery, 7 for 32, but had a touchdown. Amon-Ra, he had 13 catches, 18 targets, 164 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jameson Williams, 7 catches, 9 targets, 134 yards, and a touchdown. So massive play by them in the loss. I like Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams both in this. Sam Laporta's out injured. God willing, he'll be okay soon. Full recovery, speedy as well. I like Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jameson Williams. Jared Goff, I like him more than I like Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know if I'd put either one of them out there as like my dominant quarterback to win me this semifinal fantasy game and send me to my fantasy championship. Let's go to the Raiders going up against the Houston Texans. And no, I am not doing that to take credit for it. I'm doing it as an ode to one of my favorite broadcasters of all time, the Boomer himself, Chris Berman, who I got to meet and talk to and have a wonderful conversation with, which will always mean a lot to me, that I got to tell him how much I appreciate him, and his response was really, really awesome. So shout out to the Boom wherever you are. God bless you and your loved ones this Christmas season and always. So let's go to the Raiders first. there's really nothing to write home about here. I don't think Geno Smith is the long-term answer for this team. I think that, and this is not me wishing bad on him, I think they've figured out that he's not the long-term answer. For goodness sakes, they are on an 8-game losing streak. They just got blown out by the Eagles on the road in Philly, 31-0. Gentry, 9 carries, 35 yards, 3.9 yards a carry. Brock Bowers, 6 catches, 8 targets, but only 28 yards, but PPR. So I like Brock and I like Gentry, if I had to pick. And then on the other side, C.J. Stroud's back, so that's good stuff. Nick Chubb's injured. Woody Marks is injured. So Jawar Jordan Jr., former Syracuse, then Louisville, could be the guy. I like Nico Collins in the game. I like Dalton Schultz. I like that Houston is still alive in this playoff hunt. I feel good about them. Maybe C.J. Stroud's cards are going back up. I have a ton of his rookie cards, so please come and buy them. They're on a 6-game winning streak. They've won 7 of their last 8 games. They beat the Jaguars 36-29 with backup quarterback Davis Mills when they came back in the fourth quarter and scored almost 30 points. Jawar Jordan had over 100 yards, 15 carries, 101 yards, 6.7 yards a carry. Nico had 3 catches, 2 touchdowns on 4 targets. Schultz had 8 catches, 9 targets, and a touchdown. So, and then Jawar caught the 2 out of the backfield. So yeah, I like Jawar, I like Nico, I like Dalton Schultz. Those are the ones I feel safest about. And then let's go to Sunday night. By the way, Jawar Jordan Jr., shout out to him. I was hoping big things for him in the NFL. So happy for him. God bless to him, and really looking forward to seeing what he can do. Love the fact that we got to cross paths, and would love to cross paths with him again. And God willing, we'll have that opportunity. I'd really love to have that opportunity for sure. So let's get into where we're at with Sunday Night Football. And with Sunday night, I'm going to go to that matchup between the Patriots and the Ravens. This was like a playoff matchup, right? Not too long ago. And the Ravens were trying to beat the Patriots, who typically beat them. Now, the Patriots are trying to be the best team in the entire AFC, where the Ravens are trying to make the playoffs and hopefully still have a shot at their division. Well, for New England, I told you I wouldn't be surprised that if Drake May had a better sophomore season. He has. I like him in this game. I like Travion Henderson in the game. I like Stephon Diggs in the game. And I like... there was another person I was going to tell you, and I'm going to look at how they've done most recently here. Because their names... I mean, they just lost to the Bills 35-31, but before they lost to the Bills, they had won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in a row before losing to Buffalo. So Drake May didn't throw a touchdown in the game, by the way. Travion Henderson, who I like as a rookie, covered him in the college football playoff when he was playing for Ohio State. 14 carries, 148 yards, 10.6 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. Drake May, 4 carries, 2 touchdowns in that, both in the loss to Buffalo. Matt Collins, who played up against his old team, he had 4 catches, 8 targets, 41 yards. So Hunter Henry, that was the guy I was looking at here, didn't do too well. So I like Travion Henderson. I like Drake May. I'm going to call him a mid-range quarterback 1, but I really like Travion Henderson. Actually, no, I'm going to call Drake May a quarterback 1 because he can run the ball as well. I like Stephon Diggs. And then Kayshon Boutte, I'm going to call him a deep flex. On Baltimore's side, I like Lamar Jackson. I like Derrick Henry. I like Zay Flowers. I like Mark Andrews. I'm going to temper my expectations a little bit for Mark Andrews because this season hasn't really been him being consistently great, but I still like him in this game. Then let's go to San Francisco at Indianapolis. San Fran has had a lot of success with their backup quarterback, Mac Jones, this season. Phillip Rivers came out of retirement to be the backup now start. Well, he was not even on the roster. So you talk about Mac Jones taking over for a time for San Fran. Phillip Rivers wasn't even on the roster. But Brock Purdy is back. I like Purdy in this. Well, I mean, I like Christian McCaffrey in this game. Now, San Fran's got a lot to fight for. They're 10-4. They're playing in the best division in football record-wise right now. 2-11-3 teams, and they're a 10-4 team. They won 4 in a row. And they just beat Tennessee, but Tennessee's awful. I'm going to say I like Brock Purdy in this game. I'm going to say Christian McCaffrey. I'm going to say Juwan Jennings is a 2. I'm going to say George Kittle is a 1. Kendrick Bourne's a sneaky flex. And on the other side, I like Jonathan Taylor. And I know Phillip Rivers has been throwing that ball to Tyler Warren, so I do like Tyler Warren at the tight end position. As far as what Phillip Rivers did beyond that in his first game back in 5 years, looking at who he targeted, Amir Abdullah out of the back. Michael Pittman, 3 of the 5 thrown his way. Warren caught 3 of the 6 thrown his way. Alec Pierce didn't get much of anything. Michael Pittman's, So, I mean, I'm going to say Michael Pittman maybe is a low end 2, high end 3. I like Tyler Warren. I like Jonathan Taylor, and I like Tyler Warren. That was what I would say about Indianapolis, right? The running back and the tight end when it comes to the quarterback that wasn't your starter. But, I think that might be a good game. Might be a low-scoring game. Could be a good game, though. Indy gave Seattle a lot. Took Seattle to the end of the game and a game-winning field goal to win that game by 2 at home in Seattle. Now Indy's playing at home in their dome. So we'll see what will happen on Monday night. But I do like San Fran in the game, and I think they have more fantasy value. But Jonathan Taylor and Tyler Warren, I shouldn't say they have more fantasy value. They may have more teams or more players that I mentioned, but I think that there's value on both sides of this. And Indy's not out of the hunt either, so don't forget that. With that being said, that has been the Fantasy Football Power Hour, NFL Week 16. Thank you for being with us in the 2025-26 season and all the years you've been with us. Proudly presented by the Wildcat, who powers our fantasy football coverage here on Wake Up Call. And, of course, we are inside of the Great Lakes Honda City studios on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So thank you for hanging out with us where sports truly meets that thing called life. Of course, once we go live, we hop into the archive: Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you got to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And of course, a big time thanks to our incredible team: Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Brakes, Myers Creek with 2 locations, Countryside, 33 Rippleton Road in Kaz, and in the Syracuse Inner Harbor, right by the aquarium that's going up. And they are at Myers Creek, 720 Van Rensselaer Street in the Syracuse Inner Harbor in Syracuse, New York. Like I said, right by Destiny USA and the new aquarium. Chick-fil-A, Cicero, Game Point Sports Complex, Pizza Man, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, and your stocking stuffer headquarters on 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Brian's Landing, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Mother's Cupboard, the home of my Q-Smack Mother breakfast sandwich exclusively, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A DeWitt, Avicoli's, and we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. Find the Bobcats every single month here on Wake Up Call with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining me throughout the year. You can find all the content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our BSC Syracuse playlist. The Bobcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Bearcats every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for Bearcat Time with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining us throughout the year. We've already under-promised and over-delivered on the amount of videos that you will find with our Bearcat exclusive coverage the way that we do it in our multimedia marketing partnership. The Bearcats are on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. The Onondaga Community College Lasers are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your lasers every other Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time bi-monthly on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, with student athletes, coaches, and administration joining the show to tell the story of OCC. You will find the lasers on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our OCC playlist. The lasers are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to onondagalazers.com and go Lasers. I want to thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our college football playoff look at the expansion of the future, and of course for the unveiling of what a football plus the Italy flag plus a headset and microphone means, and that is Neapala Dan's, my exclusive series with Dan Villari that will be airing every Wednesday at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time on his road to the 2026 NFL Draft as a tight end and really a utility player that can play quarterback, wide receiver, and running back for a team in Wildcat formation and in other formations. So the story of Dan Villari continues every week, Wednesdays at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, and what we're calling Neapala Dan's, exclusively here on Wake Up Call. For now, from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I say God bless, no stress, do your best. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT, and we'll talk with you soon.